Good evening. I hope everyone is doing well. So, as you can tell, I don't have the lighting all done up tonight. It's still on the table behind me from doing the knife video earlier. So, I had the software started up and realized I didn't have the webcam set back up. So, I had to close the software, set the webcam up. And that was about 7 till time for the show to start. So, it happens. So tonight was another one of those nights that I was sitting here literally leading up to the show. It was probably close to about a quarter till. And I'm sitting here thinking, what am I supposed to do the show tonight about? And it's not like I last minute started thinking about it. I think about this off and on throughout the day, each day. And sometimes things come up and it's just bam right in my face. And, other times I feel a very, very strong conviction towards things that I'm supposed to be speaking about. And once in a while, it's like I will have a blank all the way up till a certain point, and sometimes it's at the last minute, and bam, it's right in front of my face. So, a very interesting headline just came out right before we went live, and I'm at a loss. I am at a loss. Look, I'm not going to have a whole lot to say on the subject because I don't want to get caught up in any debates, okay? The father said what he said, and if anybody's got an issue with that, they can take it up with them, not me. With him, I should say, not me. Because who am I? Who am I other than I'm trying to be a good servant, and that includes abiding by his word and spreading his word, not manipulating it, not trying to debate with it, trying to loophole with it. I do that bad enough as it is, but on little stupid insignificant things, right? Not abominations, okay? So again, I'm not here to debate that. Take that to the man himself. What I am here to talk about is this madness. And by the way, if you have no idea what article I'm talking about, and like how would you, this is the article here. Blinken defends chaotic Kabul withdrawal, says Biden administration is now focused on threat to Afghan LGBTQI plus community. I swear they added one or two or something since the last, I guess, one, the I. I didn't remember that one before. I'm telling you, it's going to need a whole alphabet of its own. You're going to have to make up letters to be able to fit it all in. It's ridiculous. It needs to stop. Period. Across the board. But what the hell are we doing in Afghanistan worrying about this? This is ridiculous. Save what people we can. Get them out of there. Enough with your special operations bullshit. Get the people out of there. And let them be. They didn't want us there 20 years ago. And they don't want us there now. Sure, there are a faction of people that have been westernized that certainly want us there because some of them, that's all they know is a westernized Afghanistan. I guarantee you, the young man on the right in the picture right here, that's all likely that he knows is a westernized Afghanistan. I mean, it's crazy. Oh, that was in Turkey, I guess. This was in solidarity. in Ankara, but this image. So I stand corrected on that. But nonetheless, people that are younger than 20 years of age there are going to know two things. That is war and a westernized Afghanistan. Okay? But there's a whole lot of people that's over 20 years old that live there. Many of which were fine, for the most part, with the way things were before we showed up. Many of these people do not want to accept these quote-unquote values. Many people here, are not wanting to accept and refuse to accept these values. Because they're not values, is why. Again, I'm not here to debate that. Take that up with the Father. I think that's the worst place that we can get as servants, is get even involved in this debate. It's not our debate. We're not the Supreme Court to God. It's not up to us. Don't debate it. Oh, howdy from Chicago. So again, this came out right before. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to read the article because I don't even know the details myself. But the headline itself is enough. I mean, look, here's my big complaint when it comes to this article isn't about the Afghan LGBTQI plus community. My big complaint is the fact that we have a serious problem in this country with veterans and committing suicide, right? How about we focus on that for a while? How about we have a war on veteran suicide? Actually, let's not do that, because anything the government declares war on becomes a big disaster. But why not work on that? Why not fix the VA? We got so many things in this country that need worked on. Some of it I consider the VA. I consider that part of infrastructure. Personally, I think that Veterans Affairs, and I think services of all kinds for veterans, I think are right up there with roads. And I don't mean in the sense the roads are really taken care of. I mean in the sense that they act like they're going to take care of the roads. Big difference there, I know. But, I really think that there are things that we need to focus on in this country. And in fact, I don't think that we need to be focusing on this crap in this country. We've got a lot of things, like infrastructure, that need fixed in this country right now. Right now. How many cities and towns across the United States are drinking toxic water? You would be shocked to know. There's maps you can bring up. And you can dial right in. Most likely find your own town in there. And it is astonishing. If you think Flint, Michigan is bad, Flint's not near the worst. Not even remotely. Most people don't know. Most people do not know. Not something that I don't think a lot of the townships and cities include with your water bill. Although they should. I think for every cycle, every month that water is off on any levels, high on anything, I think it should be included in with your bill. A red tag, like if your bill was late. Yeah, I think we kind of deserve that. But we can't work on those things. Why? Well, because we got to worry about the Afghan LGBTQI, RSTUV plus. It's ridiculous. And it's getting disgusting. It really is. So let's read the article. So I've even got the details. Because, I think it's bullshit anyway. The government doesn't care about them. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken, I think it's supposed to be Anthony, isn't it? Denied accusations of a botched retreat from Afghanistan, blaming the Trump administration for any failures and saying Washington is focused on protecting LGBTQ and other vulnerable Afghans. Thank you for rightly putting the spotlight on concerns about the LGBTQI plus community in Afghanistan and the particular threat that they had to find themselves under. They? How about all the Americans that were trapped there? Some of which were outside of the airport and you wouldn't let them in. How about that? Oh my God. Okay, sorry. That's just a little hard to swallow there. Blinken told U.S. Representative David Cecilian, I think, Democrat of Rhode Island, on Monday in a House hearing on the Afghan withdrawal. It's not clear how Blinken intends to protect LGBTQ and other vulnerable Afghans as the Taliban retook control of Afghanistan even before the Biden administration could complete its exit. The administration on Monday announced $64 million in new humanitarian assistance to Afghanistan, the Taliban, saying the money will be routed to charities and UN agencies to avoid letting it get to the hand of the Taliban. Yeah. You said, led by notable interventionalists. Sorry, here, let me move this over. Okay, sorry. Samantha Power will send the money through non-governmental organizations to provide life-saving support directly to Afghans facing the compounding effects of insecurity, conflict, recurring natural disasters, and the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the announcement. Blinken implied that U.S. has some level of leverage over the Taliban, even while acknowledging that the Islamist group has prevented some Americans and U.S. allies from leaving the country on charter flights. We expect the Taliban to ensure freedom of travel, to make good on its commitments on counterterrorism, to uphold the basic rights of the Afghan people, including women, girls, and minorities, to name a broadly representative, permanent government, the secretary said. The legitimacy and support the Taliban seeks from the international community will depend on its conduct. And I'm telling you, the Taliban that is there is not the same Taliban, by the way, okay? The Taliban that is there is a westernized version. It's the new Taliban, so to speak. I'm not saying they're great people or anything else like that, but we essentially still installed, at least on some level, of a puppet government, on some level. Not to the level that they would have hoped for, but, yeah. Blinken admitted that about 100 American citizens and several thousand legal permanent U.S. residents remain in Afghanistan. Dozens of Afghans died in the early days of the chaotic U.S. withdrawal, and 170 were killed in the August 26 suicide bombing at Kabul airport, along with 13 American troops. but Blinken rejected Republican calls to resign and deflected criticism, saying President Joe Biden was left with a choice of honoring a peace deal that former President Donald Trump's administration negotiated with the Taliban or sending a third generation of American troops to continue fighting America's longest war. Negative there, Skipper. You could have sent troops there to help evacuate. Doesn't mean you have to spend another 20 years there, does it? No. And wait a minute. How am I supposed to buy this when now your claim is, oh, well, you need to stick it out over there to help the LGBTQ plus special K community? So we can't worry about having people there to get Americans out. By the way, this is the same group of people that want to mandate you to take a medical procedure. Yeah, same people. Representative Steve Chabot or something, pointed out that Biden dismantled most every other Trump-era policy, including border security measures, then blamed his predecessor when he followed through on ending the war. Monday's hearing was largely a series of Democrats thanking Blinken and criticizing Trump's peace deal with the Taliban, followed by Republicans blasting intelligence and planning failures during the withdrawal. Now, let me back up here, and I'm not jumping on a Trump train or anything like that, but if what Trump was doing was truly legitimate, I can't tell you whether it was or not, but if it was truly legitimate, all Trump was doing is what I was saying before. He was giving them their country back. They didn't want us there. What part of that do Westerners not understand? They did not want us there, not from day one, not 20 years later. They didn't want us there. And the only ones that want us there now mostly are those that only know, those that are 20 years or younger, that only know either war or a westernized Afghanistan. They're the only ones. There's reasons for this. Man, we've got a First Amendment in this country, and one of the things that First Amendment is supposed to stand for is not screwing with people's beliefs. What the hell do you think we were doing there? Other than stealing the natural resources. What do you think we were doing there? We were trying to interfere with another nation's belief system. And I don't care how you think about their belief system and what they do. That's none of your business. We have to stop with this attitude that it's our job to police everybody. No, it's your job to police you. That's it. You. It's crazy. The U.S. had lost a terrorist, emboldening the Taliban and its adversaries in the region. This is an important question, and one that is, in its detail and substance, I think we need to take up in another setting, Blinken said. So, what they're really doing, it's their usual crap, but I mean, it's again, not what they say. Hang on. No, you didn't need to hear that. Had to blow my nose. But it's not what they say on the surface. I can guarantee you that. See, here's the thing. Biden's clan didn't want to get out of there. Okay? That's something folks need to understand. If Trump was truly genuine in his efforts of getting out of there, and again, I can't say whether he was, and neither can you. That's just the facts. But if he was truly genuine with his desire and his moves to get them out of there, man, that's one good thing that I think Trump did. Absolutely. That's a huge positive. Big thumbs up for me. We shouldn't have been there to begin with. It almost seems like the current administration sure is trying to come up with ways to garner support to get us to stick around, to stay there, to want to fight. Is this the new way to do it? So it's crazy. Anyway, let me have a sip of coffee. A or B, C? Ah, man. Got the world's best coffee cup, as usual. So I don't know. Let me come back up for a bit. I just can't believe this. I cannot believe this. I sit here and I think about what our country is about to enter into. Because, again, the labor shortages are already bad right now. And in the next coming week to, let's say, 3 weeks, 1 to 3 weeks, you are going to see the labor shortage just go stupid. Now, I hope I'm wrong. I hope that enough of the larger business owners, and I'd say larger, I really don't think a company with 100 employees is that large. Maybe 1,000 employees, you're starting to talk large, but 100, no. That, to me, that's not a large business. Definitely a medium-sized business. You're getting somewhere, but large, no. I would have to say at least 1,000 before I would consider it a large business. That's ridiculous. And I don't know how many of those business owners are going to stand up and say no. You have to understand that the majority of those businesses are legal businesses, meaning they file taxes, they do this, that, and the other thing. So that could pose a problem. That could pose a big problem if they don't play ball. And I do believe that this administration would go there. Absolutely, don't you? So we'll see what happens, but I think that if fair enough companies will just play ball without any further coercion, and I think over the course of the next 3 weeks, you're going to see massive walk-offs, and I mean massive. To my knowledge, many companies haven't actually got this initiated yet, so they're still, I guess, working on it. I guarantee you there's a whole lot of people that ain't having it. And again, I could be wrong. We could have a legal saving grace pop up, meaning something could happen legally that would get this executive order blocked. or whatever the case. And I suspect that may happen. But I think Biden's just going to do what he's already done and ignore the Supreme Court. Why wouldn't he do that again? I certainly don't know why he wouldn't do it again. So keep your eye out. I don't see us going in a positive direction at this point. I hope it turns around. Of course I hope it turns around, but I don't see that. I really don't see that at this point. Let me see. Sheesh. Hang on, let me get this headline out, and then I'll start headlines and get those out of the way and get the heck out of here. Like I say, I really didn't know what I wanted to talk about tonight. I didn't have anything that was really tugging at me, and then this came up, and just the headline alone was enough that kind of got me going. But then after reading the article, it's like, holy cow. Let's see. All right. Oh, and thank you. How do you say that, Leo? Thank you. I do my best. Let's see. I do have one from last night that I thought was, it definitely noteworthy, newsworthy. So, one from last night: Pentagon denounces North Korea's reported long-range missile launch and vows to protect regional allies. So, let's see. And then from the stuff I put out this morning: do Russians hunger for Western-style government? Polling suggests most favor return of Soviet system over liberal democracy. Now, could this be propaganda? I mean, it is a Russian news outlet. Yeah, it could be propaganda, not for us, but propaganda for them. In fact, that's really what I've seen the most of. If RT's involved in propaganda, it's usually propaganda against the Russian people, not us. But anyway, could it be propaganda against them? Possibly. But could there be meat to this? Absolutely. And just like I was saying earlier, those people in Afghanistan did not want us there. And most of them don't want us there now. They don't want to live Western world because they're not Western world. I mean, it's plain and simple. A New York hospital to stop delivering babies due to staff shortage after resignations over COVID-19 vaccine mandate. Auckland to remain under coronavirus lockdown for another week as cases keep rising in New Zealand. China's yuan strengthens against U.S. dollar to 3-month maximum. Integration with China's financial market is Russia's priority for the next decade, says the central bank. Lebanon to receive $1.1 billion from the IMF reserve to help its struggling economy after forming government following 13-month deadlock. UK government scraps COVID vaccine deal with French company Valneva over breach. No talks until sanctions lifted. Lukashenko says Belarus won't talk to West about refugee border crisis while embargoes are in place. India looks to tax cryptocurrency exchanges and trades, says a report. Beijing blasts Japan over decision to water down textbooks on historic comfort women abuses. English language, here's the thing. we need out this stuff, all of it, everywhere. And what amazes me is how hard of a time right here in the U.S. of A. we have of getting this stuff out there. I mean, like with the whole Epstein thing and all that. Have a hell of a time, and we're still, it seems like, having a hell of a time getting the information out. As far as getting, I don't know what you would want to call it, getting anything done legally about it, criminal charges and whatnot. And then, like I say, you get people that Epstein themselves. That gets us nowhere. Ghislaine Maxwell, I guess, has been doing healthy enough up to this point. But now we got games with people like, Prince Andrew, right? Or the Duke, or whatever the hell he is. And now he's skipping out on court. That'll be in the headlines. Skipping out on court because he didn't approve of the way he was served, right? So, there's that. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. English language of the civilized, Ukraine's chief censor claims, urges Kiev to scrap Cyrillic alphabet to distance from Russia. Venezuela reports another terrorist attack on its electrical system as power outages hit Caracas region and other areas. Tobacco giant BAT sought to bribe Zimbabwe's Mugabe to secure release of its private spies, leaked documents seen by BBC. F. Joe Biden chants reported again at college football stadiums. I guess it's becoming a popular fad. A digital ruble will become legal tender in Russia before 2030, says Finance Ministry. Ousted Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi skips court hearing due to sickness, says a lawyer. I probably got that name way wrong, but hey, I gave it an effort. Brit shocked after pub chain prints book of corrections from news outlets who made untrue statements about founder during COVID. Environmental threats are the biggest obstacle to human rights, the UN chief warns. Right. Environmental threats are the biggest obstacle to human rights, not the governments. Right. I'll let Frosty know. Fire breaks out under Paris Bridge, area cordoned off amid emergency service operations. European gas prices hit another record high on low supply. UK children aged 12 to 15 can get COVID vaccine, chief medical officers declare. Climate protesters draw almighty backlash as tradesmen, including thermal insulation engineers, stuck in M25 roadblock. OPEC predicts demand for all fuel types to surpass pre-pandemic level in 2022. Macron's disgraced. Hang on, let me back up a second. I was thinking about this. I think, well, 2022 isn't really far away. And why is it that they expect all this increase in need for fuel? Okay? And note that it did say all fuel types. Well, the first thing I have to question is about fuel for transportation. Because under the current appearances of things, we're not going to be up and running like crazy here in the near future. In fact, looks like there are some countries that could slip a little backwards back into lockdowns. Possibly ours being one of them. So that would be less fuel needed as far as the transportation realm is concerned. So let's talk about why they might need so much fuel. Well, one, I think they're going to need a lot more like natural gas, propane types of heating fuels, because I think we're going to have one hell of a winter. So that's going to be part of it. And then another part that I am starting to suspect, what else do you use a lot of fuel for? War. And OPEC probably knows a little more of something about that than what we do. So I'm just saying. When I read that headline earlier, it struck me as odd, considering everything that is going on, that we're going to be using more fuel than pre-pandemic level. Because we're not even close to it now, I don't believe. Not even anywhere near. So where's the fuel going? Well, I will hand heating a portion of it, because I think we're going to have one heck of a winter. And when I say we, I don't mean just we. I mean all over. If you hadn't noticed, the weather's been a bit whack around the world. But as far as like transportation type of fuels, you don't have as many people traveling in jets right now. So why all the extra, it does say all fuel types, why all the extra like jet fuels, aviation fuels? War? The only thing I can think of. And I thought it was important to unpack that, so I apologize for spending so much time on it, but I think that's an indicator. Macron's disgraced security aide stands before Paris court for assaulting protesters in 2018. World-renowned companies aren't following Russia's recycling laws and are lying to authorities about it, says environment minister. I just can't read that headline. Over 260 inmates freed as raiders blow up Nigerian prison fence, killing police officer and soldier. Uber slammed with €50,000 fine after losing Dutch court dispute over employee rights of drivers. Israeli health minister says vaccine passport system doesn't have medical justification in some cases, says leaked footage. UK counterterrorism officer pleads guilty to secretly filming nude woman with spy cams. Trump says vaccine mandates shouldn't be necessary and blasts Democrats for disparaging current COVID jabs under his presidency. Ukrainian Zelensky claims Biden gave support to Kiev bid to join NATO, but admitted that not all countries in U.S.-led bloc agree. Dozens die of dengue fever in India's Uttar Pradesh, with cases of mosquito-borne virus also reported in Delhi. France moves to dissolve racist Black African Defense League following weekend of violence. Capitol Police arrest man in swastika-decorated truck with machete outside Democrat headquarters. Some people are whack, man. Some people are whack. Palestinian man shot. And do I think that this was some setup thing with an agent? You know what? It could be because of their push, this idiotic push that they have towards the threat of white supremacy. Look, that doesn't exist. That doesn't exist. You know, if you're other than white, don't believe that crap. Don't believe that crap. There's not a large group of white people that are looking out to get you, okay? Don't believe that. I don't know where the hell they're getting that from. And it's stupidity. I just, so I don't know. Could this it could just be a whack job, because whack jobs do exist. They do exist. That's like the other guy. Remember the other guy? Yeah, I think he was just a whack job. I don't think, and everybody's probably like, well, we haven't heard anything about him. Is that, yeah, you probably won't hear anything about him. He's probably getting mental health care right now, and will be for a while, because he needed it. Some people need it, and there's no shame in that. They need to get it, because when they don't get it, things like this can happen. So maybe people that don't have mental health issues shouldn't do what the vaccinated or some of the vaccinated are doing against the unvaccinated right now. Maybe those without mental health issues shouldn't treat those with mental health issues that way, so that maybe those people with mental health issues won't feel so ashamed about going and getting help, and maybe less of these types of things would happen. But who am I to speak? Just somebody that actually has some knowledge and education in psychology. Palestinian man shot by Israeli police and allegedly stabbing 2 people in Jerusalem cosmetics store. Western governments ditch resolution to slam Iran at IAEA despite Tehran failing to give promise on certain questions. UK's Prince Andrew ignores pretrial hearing in U.S. sex abuse case, says he was served summons incorrectly. I wonder if he said it that way. I'm sure he said it that way. That's his accent. But nonetheless, I want to hear him say it myself, just so I can laugh. This is ridiculous. And I'm curious as to what's going to happen from here with it. Because, well, look at all the war crimes that different people of the U.S. have been charged with. And nobody comes here and picks them up and hauls them off. Do you think the U.S. is really going to go and pick up Prince Andrew from the U.K. and haul his ass back here? I don't think so. And I could be wrong, but I doubt that's going to happen. Cops comes back after cancellation following George Floyd death, sparking outrage from critics. Latvian military apologizes for gunfire in busy streets of Riga, which left civilians terrified amid major NATO war games. Suspend that principal. High school scraps 9/11 football tribute for fear that red, white, and blue colors might cause offense. Now red, white, and blue colors are offensive. I want to say something, but I can't. Because it's harsh. It's really harsh, but it's honest. Andrew Neil resigns as GB News chairman just months into the job. Ukrainian authorities launched probe over death of judge who oversaw investigation into car bomb murder of Russian journalists. White martyrdom. Mel Gibson blasts Catholic bishops for persecuting priests who preach traditional beliefs. Florida governor threatens $5,000 fine per violation for any government agency mandating COVID-19 jabs. Most Americans say Biden's vaccine mandates for companies set bad precedent, says a poll. You think? Single shot of Sputnik 5 effective against COVID hospitalization and deaths among elderly. Argentine study published by The Lancet. Cuban researchers say no scientific evidence for U.S. Havana syndrome claims. A man viciously kicks woman down New York City subway escalator, sending her plummeting backwards. Go F yourself, Howard Stern tells anti-vax shitheads to die at home and attacks Joe Rogan over COVID-19 treatment. Man, that dude he's another one. He used to be good until he sold out, which was a long time ago. He used to be good, but even he sold out. And that's all he is now. Just a corporate sellout. And it's sad. It is sad. He used to be so fun to listen to. He really did. I didn't care for the raunchy kind of stuff, but he did a lot more than raunchy stuff, and a lot of people don't realize that because that's all they ever heard about when it came, but he did. He talked a lot about different political types of things and stuff like that, and, it'd always been a little on the left, but not this extreme left that he is today. I mean, he is just out there whack-a-loon left. Israeli spy tech firm exploited vulnerability on all iPhone devices to implant Pegasus malware, says a report. Record-breaking bloody hunt in Denmark's Faroe Islands slaughters almost 1,500 dolphins. Post-riot fence to return to U.S. Capitol ahead of weekend rally for January 6 prisoners. Pentagon insists Kabul drone strike that killed children and aid worker was about preventing an imminent attack. I mean, they're still... Why can't they accept any accountability? That's why nobody trusts them. If somebody is making clear and evident mistakes, and they are completely unapologetic, they absolutely refuse to even recognize that they're making mistakes. Do you trust them? No? I wonder why. Rapper Nicki Minaj shocks fans with COVID-19 vaccine horror story about cousin's friend in Trinidad. I guess she came under fire because of telling somebody's experiences. It's sad. Sad. Blinken defends chaotic Kabul withdrawal. Oh, we talked about that. Sorry. Let's see. And Twitter dodges election meddling complaint over suppressing unsubstantiated Hunter Biden laptop story. I mean, it's ridiculous. And what are you going to do? Because they're the ones that control the buttons and levers of big tech. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds. Like I said, I'm a little bit not optimistic, apprehensive about the next few weeks because I think you're really going to start seeing these companies start putting these mandates in place, and I think you're going to see a lot of people walk. And it's hard to say how many people already have, because we're not going to be able to get a clear indication of that information because the media, largely the larger parts of the media, are not going to be reporting on that so much. Not unless it turns them enough of a profit that they can tell their other masters to move on, but I don't see that happening. I think largely we're not going to know about what's going on, and I think at some point that's why I said I would be prepared to lose the internet. Absolutely, or at least some facets of it, because I don't think, no matter how hard they try, I don't think that they're going to be able to stop enough communication to not have any concerns about where the American people are. I don't know if I'm being clear with what I'm saying. We have ways to be able to get around their crap, like Facebook and YouTube and whatever. We've got other platforms that we can communicate on, and there's even other forums beyond that. But I think it's going to become to a point that they're going to realize that if they really want us to stop communicating and spreading truth about what we're seeing going on in our own areas, they'll shut the internet down. They'll shut the internet down because they can't stop all the information all the time unless they do. So we'll see. I would be watchful for that. I don't rank that super high in the near future, but I could be wrong. Just keep your situational awareness on high. And when I say situational, I don't mean just about in your immediate. I mean expand that puppy out and keep that on high. Be very watchful. Listen to everything you can, but do your best job at discernment. We're entering times that, quite frankly, any of us that are breathing today haven't even been remotely close to before. Going to be some interesting challenges. Technology is going to make them even that much more interesting. When I say interesting, I don't necessarily mean that as a positive. All you can do is what we've been saying. Keep prepping. Keep a level head. Keep educating yourself. Keep getting closer to the Father. That's number one. And keep at it. Don't let this stuff discourage you. I know I come in every day and I talk about a bunch of bad stuff. But I'm not telling you this stuff to discourage you. I'm telling this stuff to you to empower you with knowledge. Okay? You have pretty much no chance at defeating the enemy if you don't even know who the enemy is or what the enemy is. That knowledge is important. God wins. Plain and simple. So never stop fighting for him. He'll never stop fighting for you. Even if that means it's your time. That may not be the worst thing that could happen. Could it? Anyway, I'm going to get out of here. God willing, we'll be back tomorrow, and I hope to see you then. Hang in there the best you can. Hope to see you tomorrow. As always, God bless you. We love you. Be one with your spirit, and shalom.